morning. Welcome back to Soul. Thank you so much for joining me. If it's your first time, welcome. Soul is a wellness and well-being podcast, food for thought. I also want to start by saying I am not a therapist. I'm not a life coach. I'm not a doctor in any way. The purpose of me doing this is I'm a normal person, just like you. Not that anyone who is a doctor or a psychiatrist or psychologist is not a normal person, but they are obviously experts in this. I'm just trying to bring things that we hear every day in our daily lives to your mind and have you think about them a little bit. The purpose of Soul is food for thought, leave you thinking a little bit about things that we may all go through every single day and work on them step by step, day by day. So today I want to talk about something a little heavy. It is something that all of us, or most of us, carry around for the most part quietly. And that is guilt. By definition, guilt is the emotion we feel when we believe we've done something wrong or we feel like we failed to do something we should have done. But guilt is not always something that is right or wrong. Sometimes, and actually oftentimes, it hides behind something that's more complicated in our emotions. Think loyalty, love, sometimes even fear. Now, sometimes guilt shows up as loyalty, and that could come in the way or manifest in the way that you're trying to move on to something else. You're trying to move on from something towards a better job, a better experience, a better relationship, but you may hold on to the old one out of guilt, out of loyalty. Maybe you stay in a job longer than you're inspired to because you don't want to leave your team behind. You are incredibly overworked and overwhelmed, but you also know that means they are as well. And so you stay with them out of loyalty to them. I was recently reading The Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, and there's this, I hope I pronounced that right, but there's this powerful moment in the book where he describes how so many men who came back from war didn't want to heal from their trauma. Why? Because they felt guilty. They felt that they survived when others didn't. And also, they've done atrocious things, and they felt so guilty they didn't want to move on because others couldn't, and others didn't get the chance to. And that's the thing about guilt. It often convinces us that suffering is the only way to stay loyal. But guilt doesn't only live in your mind, it lives in your body. It can show up as exhaustion, as stomach pain. For a lot of people, it shows up as acne, as headaches. I've had it myself, breakouts and rashes that seemed random, but deep down I knew something was off in a relationship that I was in. Guilt has a way of settling into us physically, like our body is holding on to something where we become emotion hostages. Now, like I said, I'm not a doctor or a therapist, but I am someone who has learned that awareness is the first step to healing. So today, I'm not giving you a solution in this short and sweet episode, but just an invitation to pause and to think. Ask yourself, am I holding on to something out of guilt? Am I guilting someone out of loyalty? What part of me feels responsible for someone else's happiness, pain, or peace? And what would happen if I let go? Now, bear in mind, a lot of times we feel like we want to rush into letting go of it because it means change and it may mean forgiveness. It could be that you're also not ready to forgive someone and maybe someone isn't ready to forgive you. So you don't have to rush into forgiveness or change. Ideally, that's the stage you reach. But for now, just notice. Because once you start to see guilt for what it is, misplaced loyalty, unresolved love, or old pain, you can finally start to let your body, your mind, and your soul breathe again. Now, of course, we do this step by step, day by day. Here's your food for thought for the week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next week on Soul.